So for the last lesson, we have solving trig equations. So far we've had you guys do graphing sine and cosine. We use the unit circle to simplify some sine and cosine expressions. And now we're going to solve some equations. So on lesson sheet number 1, I know it seems kind of weird that we're doing number 1 last, but that's okay. On lesson sheet number 1, there is an example that talks about what happens if I give you the equation sine of x is equal to 1/2. Okay? So what you need to remember, and there's a couple of things, but the biggest thing is we're going to be using the unit circle. And on the unit circle, every single ordered pair is in the form cosine theta, remember theta is just an angle, and then sine theta. Okay, so our sine values are the y values for the points on the unit circle. Okay, so if I look at sine of x equal to 1/2 here, what I want to do is look for any points on the unit circle, and I do mean any points, all right, that have a y value of 1/2. And if you look at the unit circle, and I know this worked example has a partial unit circle, there are two places here. In the first quadrant here, we have 1/2 right here, and that is a radian value of pi over 6. Okay, and then in the second quadrant over here, we have a y value of 1/2, and that's at the radian value of 5 pi over 6. Because both of those radian values have a sine of 1/2, both of them are the answers for x. So if you look at the answers here, it says x is equal to pi over 6 or 5 pi over 6. Both of them are the answers, okay? So make sure when you're watching this, you're looking at your, there'll be some kind of domain restriction, okay? Right here says the domain restriction that x is between 0 and 2 pi. Now I'm going to zoom in on this, okay? And I want you to really notice that there is an equal to sign here and here. That won't always be the case, okay? Sometimes your domain will be restricted from 0 is less than or equal to x, which is strictly less than 2 pi. If this is how it looks, okay, then 2 pi is not part of the domain, okay? So just be careful with that. And if 2 pi is not part of the domain, everything on the unit circle works except for the value of 2 pi. And that's okay. It happens sometimes, okay? So I'm actually going to cut this video off, okay? Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to do some of these problems. What I'd like to see you guys do is try the example problems below, okay? And then I'm going to pop up a second video that will show me going through those example problems using the full, I'm going to slide up here so you can see what I'm talking about, using this full unit circle here. So you have to actually go for the, little hunt and search here and find what you're looking for. Okay, so if this is confusing, check out the second video, see if that helps anymore. But as always, if you have questions or concerns on this, send me any messages through Remind, through Canvas, through email. Okay? Okay.